Here we are for part 2 of this week's edition of Backpage Blues. I'm still joined by Charlie Skillen from the Mail Online. How are you?
Very well, mate.
Good. Well, after last week when we got you to send your questions in, and thank you so much, we got loads, we were absolutely inundated, so cheers for that. We decided to make it a regular feature, providing you guys like it. If you do, we'll give it a thumbs up, please, just so we know and we can gauge whether this is something that you want to see on a regular basis. We're now going to get through as many of your questions as possible, and if you have any questions for Charlie, he works at the Mail, so we all must have something in mind to talk to him about, particularly with the transfer window opening again soon. Get your questions in and we'll try and get through them as many as possible. The first question that we're going to deal with is Jamie VB. He basically asks, should Loic Remy be getting more game time? What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been pretty disappointing the amount of time he's played. I don't think he's one of these where he hasn't had enough chances, and when he has played, he hasn't been good enough. He scored pretty much every time he's come on. Yeah. He scored against, rescued the game against Hull, equalised against
massive goal against City.
Massive goal against City. He's a proven quality Premier League player. I'll be very disappointed if he leaves in the summer, actually. And I think Mourinho admitted as much, that he should have got more chances.
I completely agree. There was a moment, actually. I went to Aston Villa away. I saw you there, actually.
You did?
We played Aston Villa away relatively recently. It was a good win. Played pretty well. Mourinho started Didier Drogba, and it was clear to me that day that Mourinho made a mistake. Drogba has sadly passed. He has finished his footballing career. He's still alive and well, the last I heard. But it definitely wasn't the game for him. And I think from then we realised that Loic Remy has to play when Diego Costa isn't around. So we hope to see a lot more of him.
Absolutely. I think I was really excited about Drogba coming as the third choice, but it seemed recently he's been the second choice, and I would have preferred to see Remy playing more.
Absolutely agree. Cheers for that, Jamie VB.
Yeah. The next question is from Sean Levine. He's pretty sure, as am I, that Cech is leaving. Where do you think he's going to end up, and who's going to become Chelsea's second choice keeper? Right.
Well, I can give you my answer here. I've got two scenarios for you. I've got a dream scenario and I've got a nightmare scenario. The dream scenario is he goes to Real Madrid in part of a deal that sees Raphael Varane flying to Heathrow and sign for Chelsea. The nightmare scenario, he gets a clean sheet record in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah.
If that happens, I don't know if I'll cope, actually. What about you? Can you see, where do you think he's going to end up?
It's really up to him. He's pretty much got his pick of clubs. Almost any top club in Europe would love to have him on. He's going to be an improvement for a host of sides. That includes Real Madrid, that includes Arsenal, unfortunately.
PSG are sniffing around?
Yeah, that very much includes PSG. And basically I think every Chelsea fan wants to see him go abroad. But, he is still one of the best keepers in Europe, and he's going to have his pick of clubs.
Please go abroad, Petter. Please, we love you so much. Please, please go abroad. You can't play for Arsenal. You can't get that record. Take the record from David James. You can't do that in an Arsenal shirt. But yeah, and if you can help Varane come this way as well, if you can be part of the deal for that would be ideal.
In terms of a replacement, I've heard Rob Green be mentioned. I've heard Brad Friedel be mentioned, and I've heard Shay Given as well. So I think Mourinho is very much looking at a kind of experienced keeper to kind of, really see us through if Courtois gets injured, very much similar to the signing of Mark Schwarzer.
Okay, so do you think that there's anything in that? I would quite like to see somebody like Blackman come through. Do you feel like there's any potential with him?
I think it's worth having a youngster as a third choice, but in terms of, you can imagine the scenario if Courtois gets a bad injury and we're up in the Champions League quarterfinals, everyone's going to be kind of much happier with a bit of experience rather than a youngster. I suppose
that's true. There's a little while ago, Charlie, I mentioned that I think that Eden Hazard is pretty much a shoo-in for the Ballon d'Or award at some point in his career. Yeah. Chiang Wing is slightly more pessimistic than me. He wants to know why I think that Eden Hazard is going to win the Ballon d'Or. Please, Charlie's going to tell you. There's hundreds of reasons why, and it's a certainty.
We both watch Hazard every week. He's undoubtedly the Premier League Player of the Year this season. He's still so young. He's still what is he, 25?
Something like that. Yeah.
He's got maybe 10 years to win that award. Ronaldo is probably going to be coming towards the end of his career in that period. So is Messi. I certainly see him in the level just below that.
Absolutely.
And touch wood, winning that will be when he's a Chelsea player.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. I think he's signed a massive contract to Chelsea, so hopefully that will guarantee it. But I think there's three reasons as to why. The first thing is the boy is supremely talented, so he has everything it takes to win it. I think secondly, he is playing under the best manager in the world who will help guide him. I think thirdly, with his dad as his kind of mentor, he is one of the most level-headed players around. So I think those three facts, his own personality, his own talent, and Jose Mourinho, will guarantee that that guy will win the Ballon d'Or at some point in his career. Moving on from that, my homeboy Varun Joshi, he has a question for us. He basically wants our opinions on Willian.
I think he's an invaluable team player. I think he's done a lot more than Oscar, for example, in recent weeks. You know, I agree with Varun that I'd like to see him, you know, maybe contribute a bit more in terms of goal scoring, but I think take a player like that out of the side and you see what you miss.
I love Willian. Does loads of work. When he had a bit of when Cuadrado came in to begin with, and his place was under threat, he turned it into a man of the match performance away at Aston Villa, I believe, and he also scored the winner against Everton. So when the pressure's on, he seems to really step up, and that's great. And and that will only benefit Chelsea because it will mean that for Cuadrado to get in the team, he will have to raise it even higher than Willian, and then hopefully Willian will do the same again. And we end up with just a brilliant player on the wing that will ease the pressure off Eden Hazard.
Just on the subject of wingers, BVP Troop here has complained that Andre Schurrle and Mohamed Salah are both better than Juan Cuadrado.
I find it very difficult to argue with you if we take these as individuals. Andre Schurrle, from what I've seen so far, certainly looks like a better player. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. I mean, they both had good World Cups. Salah's absolutely tearing it up in Italy. But again, as I said before, we really need to give Juan Cuadrado some time. It's very difficult to come into that kind of team.
Definitely. I mean, I wasn't suggesting that he was a better player long term, just from what we've seen. Andre Schurrle we've seen Andre Schurrle score hat tricks and massive goals against PSG and whoever else.
Yeah, I don't think you could possibly argue with saying that Juan Cuadrado's Chelsea career has been a little disappointing so far.
But plenty of time.
That said, there were reasons to sell both Schurrle and Salah, so there were circumstances were there.
Great. I think that we've probably only got time for one more question.
Okay.
So. I think this is quite a nice one here, actually. It wasn't the one I was going to go for originally because there's so many here, so please get some more in if you comment below. But there's a nice one from Alex Hawkes, and he asks, have you ever seen Steven Gerrard win the league?
I haven't, Raw, have you?
I haven't seen him win the league either, no. I hope we've answered your question perfectly, Alex. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and please give us a thumbs up if this is a segment that you like and would like to see again, and also comment below, because if you do like it, get your questions in and we will answer them for you next week. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Blues.
Cheers.